This is Jim Williams with your Hurricane City Tropical Update video for October 5th, 9 a.m. Here's the front page of Hurricane City. We have one system on the map right now, and that's Tropical Storm Philippe, and the system is forecast to become a hurricane today as it makes the turn to the north and eventually northeast and out into the open Atlantic, so this will not be any threat to land. Our current feature remains St. John's, Newfoundland, as the system Ophelia affected them a few days ago back at the beginning of the week as a tropical storm. Let's take a look at the graphic from that. And here we were. This was 9 a.m. on October 3rd, and the system was a tropical storm with 60-mile-per-hour winds as it passed right over the Avalon Peninsula of Newfoundland. Now, the thing is, the National Hurricane Center official forecast took this as a hard right-hand turn and went south of the Avalon Peninsula for quite a few runs. In fact, the advisories continue to show that even up until the point of landfall. So I know there's going to be people asking a lot of questions: is why did the system make landfall here when the Hurricane Center official forecast had this going well south of the Avalon Peninsula? And I mentioned it on several of the update videos that it was going to pass about 50 to 70 miles to the south of the Avalon Peninsula, and of course that did not end up happening. It passed right over St. John's. It came within 9 nautical miles on Monday with 60-mile-per-hour winds as a tropical storm. Now, the other debate about this is going to be whether this was a extratropical system or a purely tropical system, because it was getting pretty torn up as it came into the Avalon Peninsula. But we'll find out in the final outlook from the Hurricane Center, final reports on all the named storms at the end of the season. But this will probably be a tropical storm as it passed over the Avalon Peninsula and St. John's. So it'll be a hit in the Hurricane City database for St. John's from Ophelia as a tropical storm, and St. Pierre over here will be a brush from Ophelia. But Ophelia did cause a lot of rain in the area. Here's a photo from the Avalon Peninsula. Actually, this is a different area of the peninsula. If I go back one image, it's over in here. Right there is where this shot is taken from, I believe. And this was from 3 to 5 inches of rain in the area. And unlike places like Florida where you have a flat surface and you can absorb a lot of rainfall, this area is hilly and rocky, and the water runs off tremendously when they have rainfall. So 3 to 5 inches can be a big deal. And what happened is a lot of the roads washed out here. A lot of these washouts here, these areas here are designed to make the water run off. But it's their political season up there, and there's people running for re-election up in this area, and they're all out there. I don't want to say politicizing this, but talking about that maybe these the preparations. First of all, they should have wider drain-off areas here so the water can get out faster into the Atlantic. And the other thing they were talking about was the preparation or the recovery efforts in the aftermath of these storms, so how quickly they get out there and get these problems fixed. So anyway, if you want to find out more about this situation, go to the front page, click on St. John's, Newfoundland, and go to the news section down there, and you can get all the latest news and information out of St. John's in the aftermath of Tropical Storm Ophelia. All right, what else is going on out in the Atlantic other than Philippe? We have nothing right now, but the Caribbean Sea, Southwest Caribbean Sea, is something we're going to have to watch real closely over the next few days. Several models are indicating we're going to see development. Now, here is the European model, which is one of the best global models out there, if not the best. And this model has a system in the southeastern Gulf of Mexico, right off the west coast of Florida, moving north. And then if we go, this is going into Monday, October 10th. Then we go out to Tuesday, the 11th. The Euro is showing a weak system coming into the Florida Panhandle, so we'll keep an eye on that. Now, here is the GFS model, and the GFS is now on board development. For a few days, the GFS wasn't showing very much, but now it shows something developing in the Bahamas, right off the coast of southeast Florida. And this is going out to Monday, and then Tuesday we have a system off the central coast of Florida here heading due north. And then we go into Wednesday, and we have a system heading into the Carolinas, and this could be strengthening up towards hurricane strength. So that's the GFS model right now, and that's these are two of the most reliable models in the tropics. So one has it in the Gulf, and the other one has it in the Atlantic. So everybody needs to watch this situation closely. Now here's the climatological normal percentages of probability for development in the Atlantic this time of the year on October 5th, and we can see that there's less than a 0.4% chance of development in the southwest Caribbean Sea on this graphic. Now, if we look to the next one, this is what's currently going on right now. The current tropical forecast formation probabilities are higher than normal here. We're talking about 0.6, so slightly above normal, almost 0.8. for development off the coast of Nicaragua here in the coming days, and this is above the normal averages for development. So we're definitely probably going to see something develop here. Now here is the sea surface temperature or the heat potential map from the Hurricane Research Division, and we can see that we have a lot of very, very warm temperatures well below the surface for tropical systems to tap into. Now, all this year, and I've been harping on this, that we've had really large systems because of the very low pressures out in the Atlantic, and I'll show you those anomalies in a minute. But when you have really large systems, it takes a little while for them to wrap up, and we saw that all year long. The systems have been very broad in nature, and it takes them, days and days and days to wrap up. So this is not going to be a quick spinner-up storm, but being that it's going to be a slow developer, it's going to take a lot of real estate to develop in the Western Caribbean. There is a lot of energy to tap into below the surface. When a system's developing, it's kicking up waves and everything, and that cools off the sea surface temperatures. But the problem is when you have temperatures above 78 degrees, well below the surface, it just boils up to the surface. So it's got plenty of fuel for a hurricane to develop, even if it sits in one place for several days. So we have to watch these heat potential maps real closely. Now, here are the actual temperature maps of the Atlantic Basin, and you can see that we have very warm temperatures in the southwest Caribbean, and we're talking temperatures probably around 84, 85 degrees down here. Now, if you follow this line of aqua, actually even the light yellow could be included in that. These are temperatures below 78 degrees, and when you have temperatures that low, you cannot support hurricane strength. So all the areas south of this line will be able to support hurricane. Anything north of that, no, and the temperatures are getting cooler now in the northeast. So we'll see what happens. If the system gets up that way, it might come apart pretty quickly. But down here, there's plenty of fuel down here for a system to develop. And here's the system that developed back on October 1st, and this was in 1894. It moved northwest into the Gulf of Mexico and then hung a right-hand turn northeast and rode right up the eastern seaboard and actually hit Long Island as a Category 1 hurricane up here. And that was, I believe, on the October 10th, around that time, that we had a Category 1 moving up there. So it can happen even in mid-October. So everybody needs to be aware of that up and down the eastern seaboard. We're not done yet, and we could have more development down in the Caribbean. Now, here are the pressure anomalies I was telling you about, and I know this map is really hard to see, so focus in on my screen pencil here. And these colors up in here, the dark purple colors, are below normal pressure anomalies. And when you have those kind of pressure anomalies way below normal, very low pressures, you have larger systems. Now look out here in the Pacific, and they're all reds and yellows and oranges, and those are above normal pressure fields, and that would indicate smaller systems overall and larger systems in the Atlantic. So we're going to watch for that closely again going into October. We still expect to have large systems out here. And interesting why I have this image up. Pressures are rising out in the East Atlantic. Now, even before the hurricane season started, the pressures were really low out in the East Atlantic. So maybe this is a trend that's going to start going into the off season, maybe in the next season, is rising pressures in the Atlantic. But right now, they're still very low over in the Western Atlantic Basin. All right, that's about it for now. We'll keep an eye on Philippe as it moves out into the North Atlantic and get the latest at Hurricane City. We'll be back in a couple of more days from now with the latest on what might develop down in the Western Caribbean Sea. That's it for now. Thank you again for visiting Hurricane City.